Welcome back. Spark of Jewish Unity number 7. Right? Today we're going to look at Spark of Jewish Unity number 7. We were talking about how to not let anything get between ourselves and somebody else. So we could really experience unity, so we could experience oneness, so we could be a united, a whole Jewish body, complete and one, so we could be the other half, a perfect other half for God, who's the other half of the Jewish nation. So we could really bring oneness to the entire world. How do we unite with somebody who we feel has hurt us so completely? Meaning, I can say, oh, I'll just let that go. I just won't think about it anymore. But that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness means not to hold something against somebody else. So, if God forbid somebody experienced abuse, neglect, pain in the hands of those who had to take care of them, in the hands of when they were in a vulnerable place, even, or abuse or being taken advantage of by somebody who's more powerful than yourself, or maybe even a community leader who should have known better and mistreated somebody. Um, Sometimes it's little things, but it's just crawls under our skin. Like somebody really, really hurt my feelings. Somebody made me feel left out. Somebody betrayed my confidence. I told somebody something private and then they abused that and they exposed my vulnerability to others. There's so many ways that we can experience hurt in the hands of somebody else. How do we look at them when they come into the room or when we see something that they wrote or when we think about their memory? How do we look at them and feel completely like we can unite with them? Like we don't feel afraid of them, like we don't feel embarrassed in their presence, like we don't feel a resistance, a revulsion toward them. How can we truly be united with somebody who has hurt us? And I feel like there's nobody who gives us this message in a more powerful way than the our ancestor in Torah about whom we are reading about today. And the incident in Torah that we're talking about today. There was a young boy raised in the land of Canaan who experienced neglect and torment and abuse in the hands of those people who should have protected him when he was vulnerable. They ganged up against him and they hurt him. And the Torah even teaches us they spoke among themselves and they said, we were not there for him when we heard his cries for mercy. When we heard him begging for our mercy, we did not take care of him. Yosef and his brothers. And yet, when the tables are turned, when Yosef is the powerful one, and now his brothers are at his mercy, when he reveals himself to them, he sees their shame, he sees their embarrassment, he sees their fear, and the first thing that he does when he reveals himself to them, he says, don't feel bad. Don't put a distance between yourselves and me. He says, come closer to me. Come closer. There's nothing that needs to get in the way of our unity. And we need to understand his secret. If we could understand his secret, if we could understand his worldview, if we could understand what he was thinking, we could see how that was a very genuine feeling that when he got back together with the people who hurt him most, how was he able, his entire concern was able to be, don't be separate from me, let's unite. And the answer is in the words that he tells them. So this is in Genesis chapter 45 and Bereshit chapter 45. And it's verses 1 through 8, where Yosef shows himself to his brothers. And this is what he tells them. He says, "Don't be sad. Let it not trouble you that you sold me here. Why? For it was to preserve life that God sent me before you."
Hmm.
I want to show this to you inside. We usually don't look inside in the Sparks of Jewish Unity, but it's very, very important to see what are the words that hold the key to how we can hold no grudge against anybody who hurts us. He says, "Don't be sad, let it not trouble you that you sold me here, for it was to preserve life that God sent me before you." And in verse number 7, God sent me before you to make for you a portion in this land, to preserve it for you for a great deliverance. And now it is not you who sent me here, but God. Three times in that initial conversation, Yosef repeats the same idea. We know that the number three in Judaism is a chazakah. That means it's an enforcement. It's a number of truth. He tells him, you got to listen to this truth. It's not just a way I feel. The truth is, it's not you who sold me here. It's God who sent me before you. It's God who sent me here for a reason, for a purpose. And now it's not you who sent me here, but God. He's the one who sent me, and here are the important reasons why he sent me. What is the key to forgiveness? The key to forgiveness is to hold two truths in our mind at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time. One, the person could have done exactly what they did to me. And two, it's not their actions that cause my reality. So one, they did what they did, but two, their actions are not what caused my reality. Meaning, their actions created a reality between themselves and God, between themselves and their creator. They did make a choice. They may have sinned. They may have done something wrong. They may have done something bad. They may have done something cruel. They may have done something evil. But their actions are between themselves and their creator. They sinned against God. And forgiveness means to release the culpability into the hands of the true judge, the hands of God. What they did, that's for God to resolve. That's for God to take care of. What about what happened to me? If they didn't cause my reality, who's causing my reality? And the answer to that is that whatever happens to me is also between my creator and myself. It's not the person who hurt me who hurt me. The person who hurt me made their choices, but it's God who determined every single thing that I will ever experience from long before my birth until long after I am gone, and every single thing I'll experience too from the moment I'm born until the day of my passing, including when I will go and how I will go. Before my soul even came down into this world, God looked at my soul and said, "Listen, I'm sending you down into a world that I can't I can't teach you all the mysteries about. I can't explain to you everything that's going to happen to you. I'm going to send you into a world that may be confusing and may be very painful. And things may happen to you in that world, which will be very, very difficult for you to go through. But please go down into the world because you need to understand that every single thing you will ever experience is going to be for a reason, is going to be for a purpose. You are going down not as a victim of the world I'm sending you into, but you're going down as a soldier to fix the world that I'm sending you into. As a soldier, you'll have positive missions to do mitzvot, to study Torah. You'll also have a painful kind of work, which is to fight against evil, to fight against darkness, to fight against cruelty, to fight against coldness. I'm sending you into that world, and in order to accomplish your mission, there are going to be very specific, customized situations that I, your creator, I'm going to put you through. I'm going to wear many masks to put you through these situations. I'll wear the mask of a father, I'll wear the mask of a mother, I'll wear the mask of a sister, I'll wear the mask of a brother, I'll wear the mask of a classmate, I'll wear the mask of a teacher, I'll wear the mask of a student, I'll wear the mask of a shopkeeper, I'll wear the mask of a tyrant, I'll wear the mask of a doctor. But please recognize, my dear soul, when you go into the world, that every single thing that happens to you, it's I, your creator, God, who's making that happen to you, and all for a specific purpose. Every single thing that I'm going to cause to happen to you will be for you to be able to fulfill the mission that I need you to fulfill. Before my soul even came down into this world, God already determined she will have to experience neglect at the age of 9. She will have to experience insult and ostracism from her classmates at the age of 11. She will have to experience betrayal. She'll have to experience humiliation, and maybe a teacher will be the one who will bring her this experience of humiliation. Every single thing that we have gone through in the world has been custom created for us and orchestrated by God. So how do we forgive? We forgive by recognizing that two things have been true at the same time when I got hurt in the first place. When I got hurt, there were two characters and two plays taking place in the same moment. There was the story that was playing out between the one who hurt me and God, and there's a story that took place between my creator and me. So it's not the person who hurt me. It's not them that I need to direct my angst toward. It's God. Now, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in letter number 25 in the fourth book of Tanya, teaches us, when he talks to us about this, when he says everything that happens to you, it's God who's making it happen. The Alter Rebbe very, very clearly writes over there that it's true that the person who's hurting you possesses free choice, and therefore they are guilty according to the laws of man and the laws of heaven for their choices. But that's almost not your business in terms of course, if you need to go file a police report, it is your business. If you are the judge, you need to judge properly. But to be hurt by it doesn't make sense because regarding the person harmed, this was already decreed in heaven. So you got to split the story. You got to bring God back into the picture and recognize every single pain that happened to me was a message from God. There's nothing to be hurt about. There's nothing to hold on to this grudge for. On the contrary, when we recognize that that person did not have power to hurt us, when we separate the issues, we can even feel compassion for that person, pray for them, pray that they correct their ways, that they repair their relationship with their creator, the creator of the universe. But we don't have to hold on to the hurt that they caused us, we don't have to hold on to it in our hearts. Because as to the matter of what happened to me, well, wow, that was custom created for me by God, for me to experience in order for me to be able to fulfill my mission in this world. And that's the secret of true forgiveness, the secret that Yosef teaches us. He had no blockages to unite with his brothers, the people who had hurt him terribly. Why? Because he said, what they did wrong is not my business. I'm not the true judge. What they did wrong is between themselves and God. I never held this against them because I knew that if I find myself in Egypt, the only one who had power to send me here is God. And so Yosef always lived this way of saying, hold on. If I am in the house of Potiphar, why am I here? For what purpose? What is needed from me here? If I am in the prison after the house of Potiphar, I got thrown to the prison. Yosef asked himself, for what purpose? Why am I here? What does God need from me here? And then when he was elevated to the status of second to the king, he perhaps received some answers, but he also most definitely kept asking, God, what do you need from me in this position? And that's exactly what we can do when we get hurt or when we think about an experience where we were hurt. First of all, you can think about the other person and recognize, like we said in class number 1, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, just like God is my God, God is also their God. And they need to, I forgive them for anything they've done because it's in God's hands. I don't have to be the judge. My carrying around this vendetta against them is not going to fix anything. They need to fix their own behaviors, but that's between them and God. As for me, I will go back into that incident in my mind. I'll close my eyes, I'll think about it, and I'll say, okay, remember that time when you were 9 and you were being hurt? Bring God into the picture. Say, God, you were there when that happened to me, not as an observer. You needed that to happen to me. So, God, what did you need from me there? God, what do you need from me when I go back into that memory and it hurts so much? God, what do you need from me? When I experience this pain right now, thinking of that memory, God, it's you who made it happen to me. It's you who are giving me this memory. It's you who are allowing me to experience that same pain. God, what is it that you need from me? Hineni, I am here. I'm no longer going to hold the other person accountable. I'm going to turn to you, God, and say, God, what did you need from me? Why did you need my soul to go through that? Sometimes we'll hear an answer. Sometimes we'll recognize how we've changed. We'll find treasures. Because of what I experienced at age 9, I'm more sympathetic to others who are neglected. I'm more caring. I'm more protective of the vulnerable. Sometimes we'll find some treasures. Sometimes we won't. Sometimes all we'll be left with is the question, God, please open up my eyes and let me know, why did I need to go through that? But the pain is no longer directed against a human being when I recognize, like Yosef did, that no human being has power over my life and never did have power over my life. Where does forgiveness come from? When can I let go of the pain that somebody else caused me? When I recognize that their behavior is between themselves and God, and my life is between my Creator and me. Simply placing that awareness back into our lives will allow us to direct the feelings to where they really need to go. And forgiveness is such an important value. It's such an important mechanism in Jewish life that our sages have formulated for us a prayer every single night where we can put our mouth where our morals are. And we can actually forgive every single person who has hurt us that day. I want to tell you a beautiful story. This delightful woman who lives close by was visiting us, and she was telling us a story of what began her entire journey of trying to learn more Torah and learn more Judaism. Her name was Esther, and Esther was in her 70s, I believe. And she told us that at a certain point, she asked one of her friends, if I want to do something more Jewish, give me an idea, like where's a good place to start? And her friend told her, start with Shema at night. That's a really good fundamental. Shema Israel, affirming God's oneness. That is classically Jewish. That's what you could do. Before you go to sleep at night, you can say the Shema. Now, not knowing the text of the Shema that night, perhaps she bought a prayer book or perhaps she had a prayer book in her home. She opened it up, flipped through the pages, and looked for, where do I find this prayer, the Shema? And she turns and she sees a section of the prayer book called Bedtime Shema, Shema prayers for bedtime. So she opens up and she begins reading. Now, funnily, the words that she found were not, "Hear, O Israel, God, my God, God is one." The words she began to read were, Master of the universe, Master of the universe, I hereby forgive all who have hurt me. Whether intentionally, whether unintentionally, whether my body, whether my pride, all these words about forgiveness. And she said, hold on. I did not sign up for this. I signed up for the Shema. What is this? What are these words? What is this paragraph here? Now, for anyone who's familiar with the bedtime Shema, there are two paragraphs that we say before we get to the Shema. And the first paragraph is about forgiveness. It's a forgiveness prayer. And at first, she resisted it. She said, there's no way. I did not sign up for this. I'm not just going to forgive people just because I'm trying to say the Shema. But out of curiosity, she read through the prayer. And then she said, you know what? Let me read that again. And she read it through 3 times. And then, as she described to us, she felt like suddenly this sensation of like years of weight just lifted off of her shoulders. It's like, wow, that's it? I could just let it go? And truly, this is what happened. After 70 years of holding on to these grudges, she just let it go. It's like, I don't have to carry this around. And this is a tremendous gift that our sages give us, articulating the words of our soul in prayer. And so there's the ideas, how to forgive by recognizing anything that happened to me is actually between the creator and myself. And I don't have to hold on to the pain that somebody else has caused me. I can begin a conversation with God instead. God, why did you make this happen? And in that way, I can also begin to apply the other sparks of Jewish unity that we've learned, how to understand and respect and even have compassion for somebody, even if they've hurt us. Whereas the pain itself, we can begin a conversation with God about that. And we have this gift that our sages gave us that every single day before going to sleep, we can let go of all the hurt that we perceived had been caused by others. We can let go of all of that every night before we go to sleep by saying this wonderful prayer, Ribono Shel Olam, Hareini Mochel, and in English, Master of the universe, I hereby forgive. I hereby forgive all who have hurt me. And so remembering who caused our pain to begin with, and then putting our mouth where our values are, and speaking the words of forgiveness, speaking the words of forgiveness that our soul yearns to forgive, will help us to completely let go of grudges and to unite, at least in our minds, at least in our hearts, at least in our souls, even with those who have hurt us. Does anybody have any questions about Spark of Jewish Unity number 7? Yes, Malka, so good to see you.
Thank you. I have a little vacation from teaching. So this story with Yosef, he's Yosef Hatzadik. I am not Malka Hatzadekis. So I just like the story makes sense to me. How you read it and explained it from the Chumash. But
Excellent.
so what am I supposed to do with a
Good.
big swimming pool full of anger, resentment, feeling all the words?
Good. So first of all, we need to recognize that the leaders of the generation are called Rosh Bnei Israel, the head, and the Jewish people are called Sheish Meot Elef Raglei Ha'am, the 600,000 foot soldiers, the feet of the nation. We're one body. The difference in obligation, responsibility of the head versus the foot. The head is the one that has the clarity, the knowledge, the wisdom, the know-how, and takes responsibility for the entire body. But the head can't get anything done without arms and feet and hands and fingers and toes, etc. It's only the feet that can actually get the thing done. Our leaders, they bring a ton of light and clarity into the world, and they bring a ton of light and clarity into the body of the Jewish nation. They're the head that brings the light and clarity into the body of the Jewish nation. But they can't get the job done of transforming the darkness into light. They can only teach us how it's done. So anything that our leaders have done is merely a sign for their children, for their students, for their disciples, for the sheep of their flock. We are called Tzon Yosef, the sheep of Yosef's flock. It's only a sign, meaning the actual work has not been done by them. They give us a sign of how to do the work, but we are the ones who have to do the work, which means that we have the power to do the work. So it's very easy to look at our leaders and say, he was completely righteous. I can't do that. But it's simply false. It's not true. Not only can we do it, we have to do it. We're the only ones who can transform that darkness that we hold inside of ourselves to light. Step number 1, if you need help, connect to the head. Connect to the head. Write a letter to the head of our generation, the Rebbe. Write a letter and say, listen, I learned this amazing idea in class. Please, Rebbe, help open up my heart, my mind, my hands, my feet, unclench my stomach. Help me to take this idea and actualize it. And number 2, you got to actually try it. You got to implement it one person at a time. And my suspicion is that the first case that you try to do it with, don't be theoretical and all over the place in general, right? Be specific. The first case you try it with is going to be the hardest. It's going to take an hour, or it's going to take 2 weeks where you keep coming back to the idea and going back. And it's going to take a real battle of implementing this idea. You take the person, you think about them in your head, and you say, okay, but what they did is between them and God. They have free choice. That's the way they use their choices. But what about me? What I went through, going back to that memory, seeing God holding you, seeing God right there being like, Malka, I wish I could explain this to you, but I can't because I need you to experience exactly what you're experiencing. If God is saying like, if I make this clear to you now, you wouldn't feel what I need you to feel, but I need you to feel what I need you to feel in order for you to be the person you need to be in order to fulfill the mission you need to fulfill. Right? So go back into that memory. See God there. See God pleading with you not to fall apart, not to lose faith, but to be able to go through that feeling and feel that pain. But now recognizing God needed me to feel that pain. So my advice would be take one instance, right? Because you said I'm just a ball of resentment and anger and take one person, one incident, one memory and begin with that. Number one, think about the person. Really meditate on it. Bring the memory back into your mind and into your body and think about that person and hear the words they said, but now see God listening. See God help in your mind, have God take the fall. Have God be the target. Meaning just that when God hears those words, it's going to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, by the way, God is a bigger target, is a safer, stronger target than you are, because God also understands that person.
Mm-hmm.
So to you, that person was this big, monstrous, overwhelming, powerful force, and you were the weak one. But the minute you go into that memory, you think about it, and you have God be the punching bag, meaning it's between the behaviors between that person and God, you'll find some surprising things happen. You'll realize like, oh, they're so small in comparison to God. They're so helpless in comparison to God. They're so lacking of experience and wisdom in comparison to God. Like, how could I really give them so much power? They're so small. And then meditation number two of the same memory, go into your own memory, how you felt, and see God holding you. Feel God all around you. Feel God creating that memory from you, but also God is so multi-layered. At the same time He's creating it for you, He's also doesn't want you to be hurt. Like a doula who's helping, the new mom birth a baby. She's there, but she knows the mom has to go through it, but she also doesn't want the mom to experience pain, but there's also no choice
Right.
in order for
Right.
this miracle to occur. So take one situation, figure it out in your mind with the wisdom that we learned from Yosef. Then at night, take the prayer, Ribono Shel Olam, the forgiveness prayer, and really direct every word at the person who had hurt you. Meaning, I forgive this person who has hurt me like this, like that. Really think about the prayer and allow it to lift all of that, all that grudge, all the hurt, allow it to lift it right off of you. You don't have to carry it around anymore. And once you do it with one situation, it's easier and faster to apply it to anyone else who has hurt us. But the first one is like birthing a baby. Like you really have to take that darkness and transform it to light. And there's no one who can do it and no class you'll ever hear that can do it for you. You got to do it.